It's so typical. That's why I love you, Celia. That's why that, even though you're the girl and I'm the guy and we're supposed to be hating each other because that's how the system is right now, right? It's the whole, fuck you, Don. What are you? You're the anti-abortion, sexual assaulting guy, right? And Celia knows I'm not that way. But I'm sure she knows that like every guy's getting it right now because, women's time has come, and it's like they're not asking for innocent people to get out of the way. But I always can agree with Celia, and I've been around when Celia's been dissed, and my best friend did it and made a big mistake doing that, and I meant it when I told you that caused a big one of the biggest rifts I've ever had. And me and Celia, we weren't that close. It was just wrong. That's not the way I play the game. But see, that's why I like Celia, because she rolls like that. And this topic is something she knows I know a lot about, because I'm a wicked, or used to be at least, a wicked Vicodin addict. I was taking 100 a day. Now, when I tell people that in my old NA meetings, they didn't believe me. They wanted to kick me out. Why? Because if you take 100 of 750 milligram acetaminophen, 7.5 hydrocodone, I'm a pharmacist on the side, that is more than you need to commit suicide. In fact, that is guaranteed suicide according to the doctors, and the doctors actually studied that when I was in rehab. How can I possibly have been taking that much and not have any liver damage? Now, to back that up, my buddy took a quarter of what I took, and I coincidentally showed up in LA, and that same buddy who we were just discussing or referring earlier, she knows about him. He had liver failure, and I happened to be there, and he didn't take a fraction of what I took. But they couldn't figure out why I had no liver damage. Well, let me tell you one thing. I did not get any of my Vicodin from a doctor. They could never fill a prescription that would make me happy. From a dentist? Are you kidding me? No, we suffer. With Gen X, we suffer. Right now, how many people do you know that have died, are in pain? Probably with something weird too. Something that typically isn't common for someone in their 30s or 40s to get. We know a lot of people like that. So I do find it suspicious. It's like another reason to hate Trump, I guess. Wait, you want to crash down on the opiate crisis now? Dude, I was late to the game. I was a wicked addict popping 100 a fucking day on Oprah Winfrey, admitting that I was doing that many back in 2006. You're the president of the free world, and now in 2019, you've decided to start something against the opiate crisis. How about pulling out of Afghanistan after 19 years? Because there ain't no other reason to be there. Remember, you threw bin Laden off a boat. Why the fuck are we there? Why are kids on the street telling me that, hey, they're about to pull off the pills? Now, what are they talking about? What does that mean? Me and Celia know what that means. What that means is we don't get our shit from doctors. I didn't get my shit from a pharmacist. Celia does, because Celia has an illness that gives her whatever she should fucking want. She has earned the right to get that, and so have I, even if you pay your medical insurance. I mean, let's be honest, when we go to the doctor, I don't really give a fuck what their opinion is, just give me the pills. Straight up. They're drug dealers, that's all they are, and they're very highly paid at it. But no, it's the guy down the street who has hundreds and hundreds of bottles. An enormous amount, and we're not alone. I mean, you're buying OxyContins at like $50 a pill. Vicodins back then cost $3, and I'm having to chew 10 at a time every morning with a cup of coffee just not to go through withdrawal. I was terrified to stop taking them. But a fake prescription, never tried it, never would do something like that. A doctor, no, doctors wouldn't give me any. One look at me and they're just like, you're an addict. I know your arm fell off, but I'm not going to give you shit. But I do speak up because I am someone who is a known addict. And people love, when I come into the room, women hide their purse immediately. He's the drug addict. Stay away from him. No, he's the admitted drug addict, sweetie. That's the difference. And I can tell you this much, and I think Celia would agree. Them drugs, they're not coming from corrupt doctors. They're not coming from corrupt pharmacists. They're flooding the streets like crack cocaine flooded the ghettos. All right? Because there's no way I should have had access to that many Vicodin. And I was studied over and over again of how I have no liver damage at all with that much acetaminophen going into my system. And the first thing I thought, when people on the street are telling me are going to pull off the opiates, how can they do that? How can they control a random market like that? And they're going to flood it with cheap heroin, because we've got tons of heroin now, and it's cheap, and you're going to need some opiates because, well, Vicodin and all those, they're synthetic opiates. They're not real opium. And the human body has an opiate receptor. Believe it or not, the only drug you physically get addicted to, although you can physically get sick to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm drinking 7-Up and watching porno, and if I don't have my 7-Up and porno, then I just start feeling sick. What I'm saying is your body can physically react to things, but you're not physically addicted to it. Why would the human body have a opiate receptor built into it? Now, I got off through Suboxone, which imitates opiates, but it's not. It covers your receptor, and it makes you think you're getting some. No, we're talking about the opiates, not the other thing. And you're not, but it doesn't throw you into withdrawal, which doesn't terrify me because, as the doctor says, you feel like you're going to die, and after you're done, you'll wish you did. That's what withdrawal on opiates feels like. But for you guys to come down and say that you're going to crush down on the opiate thing now pisses me off because I do feel like they're targeting people. Because it's no coincidence everyone's getting sick. It's no coincidence all this weird shit is going on right now with people. Whether it's psychological harassment, spiritual harassment, or physical Murphy's Law. I mean, if you sprain your right ankle, trust me, everything in every place you walk, someone's going to be laying down nails and little toy trucks around where your right foot stands. It's a conspiracy, but we don't tell anyone that because they never believe us. But I know Celia knows what I'm talking about. Celia does need these. I don't take them, even though I can have them now because I have a pet peeve, and basically they're like a swastika to me because I lost my life in Los Angeles, my fiance, my dreams, basically because of them. So I don't take them out of that. Hell, I'll do coke, I'll do anything. You ain't stop. I've got nothing to lose now. See, those drugs I could kick. It was just the opiates that I had a problem with. But for you to come and say you're going to crack down on them now is really the audacity. And then to come out with fentanyl shit. Now, I've met a lot of opiate people out there who are like, yeah, the fentanyl. Look, it's 100 times stronger than heroin. I assure you, we would have been using it and abusing it years ago if that was the case. I know what fentanyl is. It comes in patch form, and it barely does the job if you are a Vicodin addict. Now, all of a sudden, you're trying to make it look like kids have found fentanyl. No, if you put in fentanyl in your heroin, you're going to die because it doesn't come like that in liquid form. So what the fuck's the media talking about? And also, quit telling us that our rock stars are dying from overdoses of pills, because my psychologist who specializes in people who are completely out of their goddamn minds, no, actually, he only specializes and is one of the best in California. Mommy and Daddy had some money. In addiction, he prescribes me Klonopin. Now, every doctor I see otherwise says, I would never prescribe Klonopin, especially to someone like you who is admitted Vicodin addict. No, that's why he gives them to me. Because he said I was such an addict, I'd never stay sober if I didn't have something like that. And I wasn't addicted to benzos. I was addicted to opiates. I give my Klonopin away sometimes. But at the same time, it's way more likely to keep me sober than it is to be a risk that I'll become an addict to Klonopin, because I just was not into Klonopins. But here's the thing. I'm white-knuckling my sobriety all the time. But maybe I want to kill myself, so I'll down all my Klonopin. Well, that's not possible. Well, the lead singer from Stone Temple Pilots did. Yeah, that's what they told you. See, when I was popping all those Vicodin, and Celia could probably attest to this too, because we all knew Vicodin addicts. We have friends that are dead from it. You throw them up, they make your stomach upset, because there's something called Epicac in it. E-P-I-C-A-C. Epicac. I learned about it when my brother was dying of AIDS, and he was trying to take his pain medication, and the nurses told us about it. Since something like 1983, they put something in these pills so that you can't take too many and kill yourself. You throw it up. It basically pumps your own stomach for you. So once you get enough of this Epicac, material, chemical inside of your stomach, it forces you to violently get ill and throw up. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know all the rules and regulations, but all I know is people don't die from drug overdoses from pills like they say they do. Up here, we had a kid get shot by the cops a couple weeks ago. They said because he got a hold of bad acid, and they went and I haven't seen acid in years. They went and arrested people for making bad acid. Okay. I don't know what state I live in anymore, because the fact of the matter is, since the 60s, they've proven bad acid basically wouldn't work. There's no such thing as acid that makes you go crazy. You're in a bad state of mind. You maybe are watching a vampire movie or broke up with your boyfriend and you took acid and you had a bad trip. But to imply that people constructed and made acid that can make you crazy instead of woohoo having a fun time is fucking propaganda. And people need to quit spreading that. But they're spreading everywhere that this kid was shot, and they need to arrest all these drug people out there who are deliberately making poison acid. Yeah, right. And I love that flocka. I love to put angel dust on my flocka. Quit fucking with our generation, man, and give Celia what she needs and me what I need. You guys are still pissed off about the Obama thing. Is that why you voted in Trump? Shit. You better hope we don't push back this time. But we will. But I love you, Celia, because why? Because you have the courage to stand up. And you know that some people are going, that chick Celia's a Vicodin addict. I would have said, what if she fucking was? She makes a goddamn good point. And if there's people out there suffering and in pain, and you want to put that on people who are addicts to Vicodin, then fuck you too. 99% of all the Vicodins made on this planet, can you believe this? This is true, are consumed in the United States of America. I've seen different statistics since the real one came out, but for every man, woman, and child in America, I think it was last year, it was 2016, a month and a half's worth of prescription of Vicodin was written. That's how many Vicodins are written, they say, by the doctors. No, 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 no. When you add up the amount produced in a factory and that have been dispensed, 99% of the entire world's amount of Vicodin, somehow or another, got dispensed into Americans. Now you answer me that. And keep in mind, it doesn't come from real opiates. It's synthetic. So that's just made in a goddamn laboratory. And I'm sorry, I just don't think the Russians were responsible for that either. Peace, love, and light.